Something strange seems to be brewing at Mercedes, and George Russell is right in the middle of it. The tension isn't just about lap times or podiums anymore. It's about contracts, future plans, and one name that keeps showing up: Max Verstappen. With Russell's current deal still unsigned, the situation is getting more complicated. Mercedes, a team known for planning well ahead, is clearly preparing for the major changes coming in 2026. And when you're eyeing long-term success, you're bound to assess all your options, especially when a talent like Max might be considering a new chapter. Recently, Russell made a statement that added more fuel to the fire. Instead of calming the whispers, his words have only made the situation louder. The idea of Max joining Mercedes is no longer just casual talk. It's starting to look like a real possibility. Russell himself has hinted that he wouldn't be against the idea of Max stepping in. But let's face it, if that happens, George could be the one to lose out. Russell didn't sugarcoat anything when asked about where he stands. His response was clear. His seat at Mercedes isn't guaranteed. He admitted that staying on would mark his 5th year with the team. But in Formula One, nothing is ever set in stone. Every driver knows that their time can come to an end without warning, and the only real control they have is to perform consistently, race after race. It's easy to brush his words off as just another routine answer, but when you look deeper, it signals a shift. George has been part of the Mercedes camp long enough to understand how the system works, and while team principal Toto Wolff has shown support, recent signs suggest he might be keeping his eyes open. In a sport that moves as fast behind the scenes as it does on track, even a slight change in attitude can mean a big shakeup. And with Verstappen's name circling the paddock, Mercedes may be tempted to reconsider their current setup. Whispers about Charles Leclerc being unhappy at Ferrari came and went, but he quickly shut those down. That shifted all attention back to Max and the ongoing situation at Red Bull. IQF Mercedes is truly thinking about reshuffling. It's unlikely they'll make any bold moves with Russell unless they're certain about Max's intentions. It might come across as unfair to George, but when a multiple-time world champion becomes available, even the most loyal team setups start to shake. Then there's Kimi Antonelli, a young talent many believe is being groomed as Mercedes' next big thing. Between Antonelli's promise and Verstappen's rumored availability, Russell finds himself squeezed from both sides. Behind the scenes, quiet talks are said to have taken place between Russell and some people at Red Bull. Nothing official, but enough to suggest that plans are being made quietly, far from the cameras. When so much is on the line, teams and drivers tend to keep their moves hidden until the last possible moment. George has openly said he hopes to stay with Mercedes going into 2026, marking his 5th season with the team. But he also knows that this sport is as much about timing and politics as it is about speed. In his own words, sometimes things work out, and sometimes they don't. He referred to the careers of past champions, drivers like Alonso, who captured 2 titles early on and then faced a long, dry spell, and Vettel, who dominated for years before fading from the title picture. Even Michael Schumacher needed 5 seasons at Ferrari before things clicked. These comparisons aren't just casual observations. They highlight how unpredictable Formula One can be, even for the most talented. George is aware of the weight Mercedes carries as a brand and the kind of expectations that come with that. His recent comments, along with Wolff's cautious words, show that nothing is certain. Mercedes might be content with their current pair now, but when a chance to upgrade comes along, history tells us that teams don't hesitate for long. Wolff and Bradley Lord, the head of communications at Mercedes, have publicly expressed confidence in the current lineup. They've said this is the pair they want to enter the 2026 regulation change with, but in Formula One, words often serve as placeholders until actions take over. We've seen similar promises from other team bosses in the past, only for them to chase new talent the moment they see an opening. Loyalty in this sport is often conditional, especially when a driver like Max becomes available. Right now, George needs to be fully alert. If Max decides he's ready to leave Red Bull, Toto Wolff will almost certainly make a move. It's not personal, it's business. Max has shown that he can win even when he doesn't have the best car on the track. But the major changes coming in 2026 mean he'll need more than speed. He'll need consistency, support, and structure. With Red Bull facing internal troubles and losing key people, Max has more reasons than ever to consider a new seat. That's what puts Russell in a tricky spot. The tension inside Red Bull isn't just noise anymore. Big names like Adrian Newey have already left, and other longtime figures have followed. For someone like Max, who values a stable working environment, more than just trophies at this point in his career, this situation is far from ideal. His contract does include a special exit clause, which keeps both his current team and other teams guessing about his next step. Mercedes knows this and is likely watching every move closely. Toto Wolff hasn't been silent either. He's addressed Russell and Antonelli's roles within the team, saying the current pair is the one they're moving ahead with. But there's a key detail in how he phrases things. He uses words like "for now" and "as it stands." That leaves the door wide open for changes, especially if someone like Max makes himself available. While Russell has proven he belongs near the front, it's difficult to match the reputation and results that Verstappen brings. This puts George in a position where he's doing everything right but could still lose his spot if the situation changes. Bradley Lord, who plays a key role in how Mercedes communicates their plans, recently said there's no rush to finalize George's contract. According to him, they manage Russell's career closely and will sit down with him when the time feels right. Discussions will happen, but they haven't started yet. That might sound casual, but it also leaves a lot of uncertainty hanging in the air. Meanwhile, other teams like Aston Martin are being mentioned in rumors too. Of course, all sides have denied talks, but in Formula One, denials don't always mean much. A lot of decisions happen behind closed doors. If Verstappen does switch teams, the domino effect could be massive. That's why George can't afford to relax. Even if a deal is being prepared quietly, it might not involve him. And if Max heads to Mercedes, Russell will need a strong backup plan fast. So the big question remains, will Russell stay at Mercedes and continue building his legacy there, or is the team preparing for a change no one's ready to admit just yet? The answer may come sooner than expected, and when it does, the entire grid could shift overnight.